everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to the pod. Episode 6. First of the year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I guess we can just go right into it. Gabby, what'd you learn this week? Or, can we do two?
What we learned this week?
What did you learn this week and a goal that you have for this year?
Oh, that's a good
Right?
one. Okay, what I learned this week. You always start with me.
Yeah, sorry. If you want, I can also start.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, what I learned this week is literally just what I told you 20 minutes ago, which is, one of my family friends passed and he was 25 and he suffered a stroke. And I feel like lately, and somebody else messaged me and one of their friends suffered a stroke. And I feel like there's just been a lot of honestly, death recently. I don't know. I don't mean to start it off on such a whatever, but
okay, this is actually kind of crazy because last night I went to dinner with Fran and her cousins, and they were saying that one of them has a nursing friend or someone who works in nursing, and she was apparently saying that it's been a crazy month for people in the ER. People are just dropping like flies. And I'm like, that is
weird,
scary.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, I thought about this a lot during the height of COVID. And then, at a certain point, I feel like we all kind of blocked it out of our minds a little bit for the sake of sanity. And some people couldn't, and I acknowledge that. But, I don't know. I feel like it was a lot. And people have been thinking of death in a lot of ways and mourning a lot of lives in the last few years. But when it hits very, very close to home, I think it feels like even more, what's the word that I'm looking for? It just hits you more. And so I've been thinking a lot, I guess, about just that I'm lucky to be alive. It's so corny, but it's I'm lucky to be alive, and I'm grateful for every moment. And it really is true that you have to make the most out of everything. And I try to, I think, live my life by that philosophy anyways, but it's definitely heightened in the face of so much loss. Yeah. That's what I learned, I guess, this week and what I've known, but what I've been reminded about. And then my goal for this year is just to really invest more in my artistic career. Getting headshots tomorrow. I have somebody working on a website for me.
Ooh. So
I feel like I don't know if I told you that.
No.
One of my friends graduated from a UX UI boot camp, and so she wanted clients, and she had a lower rate because she's just starting out. She doesn't have anybody yet. So I was like, yeah, I'll get a website.
So cool.
Yeah. And so I'm putting everything on there, and I feel like even looking at it all in one place, I'm like, wow, I actually do a lot, and I would like to invest more in this because I already spent so much of my life on it, but I just don't get paid for it. So if I can figure out how to make that a career, I feel like that'd be amazing. So that's my goal for the year.
Yes, that's good. What I learned this week, I had a therapy session this week that I think was pretty enlightening because I started out I started out having a conversation with my therapist because I was talking about coming off of my meds, and I was like, I didn't tell you that I already started doing that because I was worried that you would be disappointed in me. And she was like, Gabby, let's unpack that. And I was like, what do we have to?
Leah, let's not actually. Thanks.
Let's chill. But then we did, and we talked for 45 minutes, and then again, all comes back to my childhood and all of that kind of stuff. But what I did learn was that I put so much value into my strengths and my passions and my ambition. I place so much of my self-worth. Sorry.
It's Gus and Marvel are having a moment.
Yeah. She's sniffing his
standoff.
asshole, and he's trying to scratch his scratch post. But anyways, so brief intermission over. I learned that, I knew I placed a lot of value into and a lot of my self-worth I based on my ambition and my drive and my need to succeed and my goals and wants for things my artistic whatever. I have so much drive and ambition there. And I feel I've always been ambitious, and I've always wanted things really hard. And we were talking about that, and we were talking about other qualities of mine that I have that I that are innately mine that aren't something that would be celebrated.
Right. Oh, yes, I remember this text you sent me. Yeah. Things that are not external as much.
Yeah,
right?
Something that
and traits.
basically baseline is that I placed a lot of value into these strengths of mine because I would get external validation from those. Like if I was ambitious and I worked really hard and I tried so hard to be the best at everything that I did, I would then be like pleasing a lot of people. I would then receive praise. I would, you know, the Leo in me. What can I say?
Do I ever?
But my therapist was like, but what are things about you that you like that are just like not things people regularly like praise or like, you know, like they're not a product that you create. And I was like, oh, I don't fucking know. And then I started thinking about it and I came up with a list of things that I actually like about myself and things that I would have considered like weaker traits that I actually think are really good things. Like I'm a pretty sensitive person. And I think that that can be good because then I'm very empathetic. I am very loyal. I'm like, you know, like, I just have like a lot of other qualities and things to offer. And I learned that this week. I was like, whoa, I actually like have more than I thought I did. Because before, if anybody asked me like, oh, what's your favorite thing about yourself? I would have always said my ambition.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something that I really like about you is you that's like in that nebula of like not related to your ambition is you kind of make room for everything. And by that, I mean like it kind of has to do with your sensitivity. I feel like you pay attention to other people, but you don't like not at the expense of yourself or like the greater problem or the greater perspective. I feel like you're good at like a little bit looking outside of everything and everyone and recognizing like what hill to die on and what fight not to like engage in the world, in your career, like in your relationships, truly. And that kind of makes it more comfortable for everybody because I feel like you give enough attention to everything that needs attention, but you don't like blow it up, you know.
That's so nice.
It's true. Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Wow. Sit with that for next time.
Next time on Survivor,
you know.
Next time on Gabby's Life.
Guys, we can't give you our last name.
Almost exposed my last name.
We can't dox ourselves for the whole 20 people who watch this.
I know.
To our whole 8 subscribers.
Our 30 TikTok followers.
Actually.
18 Instagram followers.
Oh, yeah, we have 30. Yeah, come on.
I know.
Okay.
Famous.
Guys, when you add it all together, it's not nothing.
Yeah. And then my goal for this year, I have I just want to achieve more balance in my life, whether that's like a work-life balance or like social life and alone time balance. I think I need more of that. I need to just take more time for myself and maybe stress a little bit less about my career or what job's going to come next. Because I do work contract to contract, but I feel like I can just take it easy a little bit this year and let myself rest.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially in your industry, it's so important because if you don't give it to yourself, like nobody will. Like if anything, like they're asking so much of you already.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really important that you give that time to yourself. Also, I feel like you have enough examples at this point of like things working out that you can like, you know, reliably expect the next thing to come.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, drop in the comments what your goals for this year are. We want to hear them. We want to cheer you on.
Please let us know because I would love to read comments.
I would love to. And I also kind of want to be inspired by some. I want to know what the hell to do with my life. Like, tell me what you're doing with yours.
Yes. Oh, hi, sir. Come here.
Hey. Hi, Gus.
So should we continue on? We thought this week we would dive into celebrity gossip. We've both been very into blinds, like celebrity like blinds.
Items.
Specifically, we've been listening a lot to the podcast Fluently Forward, which is fantastic. You should listen to it. I feel like this kind of jumps off of the back of our Gaylor episode, but that was like 3 months ago.
It was December, to be fair.
No, it was fucking beginning of November that we filmed that episode.
You had your Christmas tree up in the beginning of November.
Oh, maybe it was end of November.
Okay, but I was like,
either way.
Okay, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time.
It's like a month and a half. Yeah. But yeah, jumping off that, like Gaylor essentially is made up of like a lot of like blind items, close reading, connecting the dots, and I feel like celebrity gossip, especially when it comes to blind items, is the same. So there will be like, you'll have sources various different sources that are like close to celebrities or like in the industry, or sometimes celebrities will even like leak certain things themselves but keep it like coded. And then if you combine all these sources and like everything you know and everything you've heard and all the interviews, and you try to like connect the dots, I feel like it kind of forms a story. And so podcasts like Fluently Forward do that, where they'll read blind items, and they'll also have like knowledge of other things like that the person has said or done or interviews or whatever, and then they'll kind of put it together as a cohesive whole. I think what we're most interested in, honestly, is like all the gay blind items, like because there's just so many. But there are also some really fascinating ones. Like I listened to an entire New Girl episode that was really interesting.
I haven't gone to that one. I listened to the Game of Thrones one.
Oh,
that was really interesting.
Whoa, I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I imagine it would be like huge.
But it was like Sophie Turner, Joe Jonas blinds, like
right.
Maisie Williams.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay. And then Gabby also has some hypotheses that they'd like to share.
Fucking conspiracies. But one specifically that I needed to dedicate a podcast episode to. Okay, Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson. Let's set the tone here. They start dating at the height of Twilight.
2010, maybe
2010,
8, 9.
yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. Let's be fucking for real. That was absolutely a PR relationship. I haven't listened to any blinds on them. I don't know. I just have theories.
There's a little bit about that in that episode that I just finished. But
okay.
Yeah. It said the same thing you will.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because I think it's entirely too convenient. Like their entire timeline, like, yeah, they date each other, and then like at the height of their career, like when it's the most convenient for them to be together because the entire world is shipping them.
That's
like,
so obvious with any PR like relationship in general. When anybody gets together at the height of their career, it's like so obviously PR.
I know. It's
like fucking what's his name, Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Anyways,
continue.
Yeah. Oh, we could do this for every.
We could do this for every
Hollywood
movie
couple.
Like yeah.
So them in particular, I think, is really interesting because of like the way their careers have gone, and specifically Kristen Stewart, how she's come out. I think they were together because it pushed their careers forward, but also because she was gay. She's a lesbian, and she couldn't come out. Like it's 2008, 2009, 2010, a little bit of a better time, but still it wasn't great to be out. And I don't think Hollywood would have accepted a lesbian. They still don't really.
And it would, the thing about Twilight and the Twilight franchise is that she was already giving so little, like, not that she's a bad actress, but in the whole, like, that's the joke, right? Where she's so tortured and like kind of quiet and cold, that it's like you needed a love story in there to be believable. And if you also made her gay, it really would have killed all those movies.
Everything. Yeah. So they start dating. I think genuinely they were like, this is a smart move for us. But then Kristen Stewart somehow falls in love with a woman. And we have this whole bust up of Kristen Stewart cheating on Robert Pattinson, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I buy it. I mean, sure, everybody in Hollywood cheats, but I also think like with that specific situation, I bet she was caught by some kind of paparazzi, whatever. Somebody caught her with a woman, and then they were like, well, she's with Robert Pattinson, that's not good. And then her team and his team were like, okay, we need to cover this up. You need a bigger scandal because you being gay cannot be public. So let's set you up with this director of this movie that you're working on. You have this very public kiss. Like, honestly, come on.
It was a weird angle
kiss in Hollywood that happens in the middle of the fucking street. You're in a public relationship. That's set up. They called the paparazzi, whatever. That's whole. And then there's this whole thing like, oh, Kristen Stewart cheating on Robert Pattinson, because people are going to get over that way more than they're going to get over Kristen Stewart isn't available for me to like anymore. Or,
I think that that photo as well with the director, I don't know if I'm right, we might have to Google it, was on set even, like, which is like even it's so obvious, like on set around like cast crew, you're telling me that they would like openly just kiss? Are you fucking kidding? Also, I, not to say that I know Kristen Stewart's type, but wasn't he some like old fuck, like this like old guy with this like wife and kids? Like I don't really know if that's K-Stew's type. Like, oh no, it wasn't on set. It was just like randomly.
But it was like right outside of set.
And they're like, what is this pose?
No, this pose.
What is that? What
No,
is that?
I'm going in for the
What the
video
hell is
viewers of this
this?
podcast. I will insert these pictures.
And he's making direct eye contact
Like-
with the camera, Rupert Sanders.
She literally looks like she does not want to get further away from him.
Also, look how close that shot is. Like,
That is posed. They're like posing for their prom pictures.
it's such a close photo that I really don't see how it wouldn't be.
Yeah. No, this is fully PR
Yeah.
because, like, I don't know. Either maybe Robert Pattinson's gay too, and they were bearding for
Maybe,
each
yeah.
other. I feel like he was her beard, and he needed the fame, or like it was good for his career. So they dated.
I can even believe that they had like a little fling or whatever.
Sure.
Like what in Hollywood, whatever. Everybody fucks everybody. Like I can totally believe that there's like this movie, intense vibes, whatever. Maybe they like hook up a little. Maybe they have a little fling. But I don't think it was like as intense as they were trying to spin it.
I know. Yeah, I don't think so. And they were
you
together
remember
for
who the-
4 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. I really don't believe that for a second.
It's a long time. I mean, it was also just like the duration of the movies. Like
I know,
it
was
lines
so
up too
convenient.
well.
And the fact that she cheats on him, like, at the end or after, they're probably just trying to dispel the fact, like, people were like, let's bring back Twilight, or like, we want more or something. And they're like, no, we need to end this.
Yeah.
And so they have this whole scandal. And like, well, now they're not going to be together.
For a while, I also thought that Kristen Stewart may have even had a fling with the girl who plays Alice. I don't know what her name is. Ashley or something? I don't know. Ashley Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought maybe they would even have a little bit of a thing. I think there were some blind items of them like flirting a lot on set or being like,
I buy it.
you know, you
Yeah.
buy it.
I don't know. I feel like Kristen Stewart gives such lesbian vibes.
She really does.
That and it's sure maybe like what 5 years ago or something she came out as bi, or I don't know if she said that, but I feel like I heard it
Yeah, I
somewhere
don't
that
know.
she said maybe on SNL or something like, oh, I'm bi or I'm queer or something.
Oh, she was
along
like
those
on
lines.
SNL. She was like, "I'm so gay, dude."
Oh yeah,
Yeah, which
and she hasn't dated
that's
a
enough
man
for me.
since.
Yeah, that's enough for
That's
me.
crazy. Like
She
she's
wasn't, like-
engaged to a woman.
Yeah. You ever see that Tostinos sketch on SNL? I don't know what it's called. Tostinos?
No.
It's like this like sketch she does with Kate McKinnon and they're like making out in this kitchen or whatever. It's actually kind of like,
Wait, I have seen this.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh my god, Aubrey Plaza was on SNL, or she's hosting
I saw
SNL tonight,
that.
and she did like a promo, and she ended up just like kissing the girl for like the other girl.
We should put that on later. we should. It does start at 11:30, so kind of late, but at least we'll catch her monologue. you
Yeah,
know?
I love Aubrey Plaza. But yeah,
She's blonde now. How do you feel about that? Sorry, tangent.
I think it's okay. I think brunette suits her.
I think so too. But I think it's okay as well. But I do think
I think
brunette
she
is.
just did it for a movie though.
Yeah. So undo it for the movie. No, but I
Let's
think she
go
has to
back.
keep it blonde for the press.
Probably.
Yeah. And that is just one little example of like the shit that you have to do for a movie. So like, why
I
wouldn't
know.
you be in a PR relationship?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my whole spiel on Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson.
And that was Marvel's spiel. On
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart.
Marvel agrees.
Marvel
Yeah.
has to agree. Has lesbian moms.
Yeah. So you were listening to a Fluently Forward episode, and you
Oh.
heard some stuff that I haven't listened to that episode. So
right. Yeah.
I want to hear the
You know,
tea.
I'd also like to plug my fourth year final essay from my seminar class where I wrote an entire essay on like queer women in Hollywood being closeted, why, common themes in their closeting, and like case studies basically. It's a 25-page paper. I might even fucking like get into this. I don't care.
Do it.
I want people to read this because I did so much research and found out so much shit about just so much shit about like closeting in Hollywood. But essentially one of the big ones in the Fluently Forward podcast that I was just listening to on my way here, I think it's episode 26 or 27. It's the one that's like queer women blind items. And the one about Sandra Bullock threw me off so much because apparently she's had a girlfriend for a really long time and they got married like last year. Yeah. Like married. And that threw me off, but is also so believable. And I mean,
believe it. The tension between her and Kate Blanchett in Ocean's 8 was gay.
well, I think Sandra Bullock being queer in general is so
Yeah.
believable to me, but I think it's even extra believable because she was with this guy, I forget his name, but she was with this guy for a while, and then they divorced, or they like broke up or whatever. I don't even know if they were married. And then she adopted 2 kids, and then her whole thing was like mom duty, like single mom. I'm giving my whole life to this. She even like laid low for a few years and like really committed to the mom thing, and then kind of has gotten back into some more like box office movies in the last few years, I think. But yeah, like she was doing she was on her single mom journey. And then part of me was also like, they haven't linked her to anybody in a real long time. And I get that you're a single mom and you want to focus on parenting, but you're also in Hollywood and you can be with anybody you want, kind of. And there's just so much possibility that I was like, I don't really buy that you're not dating anybody in this whole time. And so what makes sense is that like, she says she's doing her single mom thing, and she is, but is just like dating this girl on the side and is now married, I guess, now that her kids have also like grown up a bit. And
those kids have lesbian moms.
Those kids have lesbian moms.
Wow.
Yeah. And Sandra Bullock is one of your lesbian moms.
That's crazy.
Like, I loved her in she was in this movie called The Net about like identity theft on the internet in like the 90s or whatever. Okay. It was so iconic though, and she looks so cute. I loved her. I also love Crash in the 90s. I just love Sandy B movies.
She was in Miss Congeniality.
Miss Congeniality, so
love that
good.
movie.
Yeah. Ocean's 8, obviously, where she basically like I fucked Kate Blanchett on screen. Oh my god, there's a part in that movie
basically fucked.
Oh,
they did everything but fuck.
I think it's also implied that
they fuck.
Okay. I think they also implied in kind of the movie, to me at least, that they like had a relationship before or something, or like I don't know. Didn't it feel like there was something?
There was tension there.
There's a backstory for them, and then they're also at a diner in one scene, and then Kate Blanchett's like, whatever, like something about a diamond, and she's like, baby, we haven't even gotten married or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
like,
they were gonna steal me a diamond
flirting.
Yeah. And she was like, oh baby, I haven't even like whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she says like honey or baby or something.
Yeah,
like,
she says baby.
She says baby.
Yeah,
which is baby. Even more incriminating. But anyways, that was a Sandy B one. And then something that also blew my mind when I was writing that essay in 4th year was Queen Latifah has had a wife and a baby for a really long time.
This shocked me.
A wife and a baby. And not only that, but they've been like photographed all together. So it's not like hidden. It's not a secret. It's just so buried.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So that was essentially like my whole dissertation, which was like, lesbians are everywhere, truly, especially in Hollywood. Because if you think about lesbianism from a practical standpoint too, like the ones that can be the most comfortable with their lesbian lifestyle or whatever are the ones who really are not tethered to like men making money for them or getting them anywhere at all. And so in some ways it's like at that level of fame and wealth, you don't need shit from anybody, and you can be as gay as you fucking want, but you might lose some of that wealth and comfort if you come out, I guess. So they keep it on the down low. But it's like if I was a Hollywood celebrity, like I would be even more tempted to be gay, because I'd be like, I have everything I want and I need. I don't need to ask anybody for any handouts. I don't have to worry about my life and like where I'm going to make money or my accolades. Like I already have all of those things. And then I guess it's just like their managers or their PR people are just like, keep it on the down low so you continue to have a career. But in essence, like they have the most access to lesbianism because they have all this like privilege, really.
Yeah.
Why'd you laugh?
What were you thinking about? Said they have the most access to lesbianism.
I mean, they do have the most access to lesbianism. It's just so easy. Although, they have maybe the least access to like outness.
Right.
But the most to gay sex is what I'm trying to say. Kind of.
Yeah.
And so that was like what blew my mind. Even like Whitney Houston and her like lover Robin.
Yeah.
And I think her name was Robin. And they fully had like a full relationship. And then when she kind of got really famous, her people were like, okay, well, you're going to have to dissolve this. And then after her death, her lover wrote this whole memoir about their relationship. And it was like deep and intense and everything. Gail and Oprah, Dolly Parton and her best friend.
Yep.
Like all these cases are like well recorded across random, I don't know, like, yeah. So there were all these people, and just really wild. And there's a singer called Shelley Wright, who's like this like country singer and is a lesbian. And like when she came out, she wrote a memoir on what it was like to be closeted, and like having everybody in the industry tell her to like keep quiet, and like the psychic and like emotional toll that it took on her.
Yeah.
And it was really intense. And she says, you know, the it's like a machine that like chews you up and spits you out, and there are like all these different prongs and all these different people who are trying to keep you quiet at all times. Like it's a machine. And I think that's really what it comes down to in like Hollywood and with celebrities. It's just that like there are all these other people who are tied to you, and you determine so many of other people's like jobs and careers, that to keep the whole thing afloat and to not risk it, they really unless your whole shtick is the gay shtick, in which like you find a niche and then they like
you're a Tegan and Sarah or a Brandy Carlisle or an Ellen DeGeneres.
Exactly. But the thing about, you know, even like Tegan and Sarah, Brandy Carlisle, and is that they're never gonna be like
they're never gonna be like A-listers.
Yeah, no. They're never going to make that kind of money. And that is kind of the trade-off in Hollywood. It's, do you want to be Kaylee Kyoko? Do you want to be the biggest star alive, biggest musician alive? Or do you want to like live your life? Even without gayness, I feel like privacy is a big thing. Like, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like, what kind of life do you want? And I honestly can truly say I would never want that level of fame, because I think it would be so suffocating.
Oh yeah.
And it's no way to live. You know, it's just like you're linked to all these things that are like way bigger than even your industry, like links to politics, it links to like, hey, it links to, I don't know, like public opinion, it links to the zeitgeist. Like it's so many things that you can influence, and nobody should have that level of power. Yeah. And so I really think that also at a certain point in people's careers, when they are ready to relinquish some of that power, then they actually come out. Like Jodie Foster, you know, came out late in her game. Even Kay Stu, I feel like waited till the peak was over, then she came out. Like I feel like once you get to that peak, you're kind of like, hey, I just want to vibe now. Yeah. Like I'll come out.
But you do have a lot of celebrities coming out as bi. Oh, but you don't have a lot of celebrities coming out as lesbians. Okay. Which I think is another whole other thing, because it's okay. You can be out as long as you still have a proximity to men.
Yes. I actually
because then you're still desirable, you can still be in all these movies, and men can still know, oh, I can still fuck you, even though they would never be able to like get to this person, but they can still dream.
And they can still see it on screen, or like see it in your life or whatever. Like they still see, you know, some of that. And so some of what I wrote, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just had Saoirse Ronan has got to be gay.
Saoirse Ronan has got to be gay. And kind of very, you know, she gave an interview with Ellen where she was like, I never go on dates.
I'm like, do you, or can you just not tell us what dates you're going on?
I feel like she can't. It's the latter. Also, that whole fucking movie with Kate Winslet where they're like on top of each other the whole time.
Literally fucking.
What's it called? The Mennonite movie.
Ammonite.
Yeah, thank you.
The Mennonite.
What the fuck is? I didn't even watch it. I was Ammonite. Like, I don't know why.
It wasn't that good.
I bet, especially,
you know, like,
except for maybe
that
they're sexy.
Cast. Like, come on, you could have given us something more. Put Saoirse Ronan in another lesbian movie.
I've also heard Rachel McAdams. Yeah, and apparently she lived with her like gay brother in the annex in Toronto in like the early 2000s or 90s or whatever, according to my lesbian prof, like my lesbian studies prof. Oh, she also said that there's this whole like underground network of like in New York City in the 90s, like all the bars that celebrities would frequent. There was like, it was so well known, like who was gay and who wasn't. Even Jodie Foster's like roommate in like college or something, I think, was like, would go to these lesbian bars and be like, oh yeah, Jodie would like bring girls home all the time. And like my lesbian professor would hear that from the horse's mouth, you know, and be like, okay, so that's it then. And I do think that lesbians have this standard where they're kind of like, they can do that like respectful thing of being like, you know, I just give you the nod, I know who you are, I know, but I'm never gonna put it out there. But I just understand like the limitations, and you're just gay to me, like it's fine. But I sorry, on that bi woman thing, why a lot of celebrities are also bi is because, or not why they're bi, but because why it's easier for them to be out compared to lesbians is that there's also that like forbidden, like tantalizing kind of like scandalous element of like you're bi, that's like sexy, that's like hot. Also in part because it's related to like men being like, oh, I can still desire you. There's that threesome fantasy. There are like all these other things.
And biphobic.
so shitty and biphobic, but in that machine, in that world, also a marketing tactic, also like a PR strategy. Oh, you're bi, you're like even hotter now. Megan Fox,
right?
You know, for example, like everybody wants to be you, everybody wants to fuck you, and you want to fuck everybody else. Like that's kind of the message that they're giving, right?
It like reduces them to not even human beings. They're just objects of desirability at that point.
Exactly.
And it sucks.
Yeah. Also, sorry for our audio listeners, I put "you want to fuck everybody else" in air quotes. I don't actually feel like Megan Fox. I really hope not. You know, except but the bar is also weird with MGK. I don't fucking know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you start getting these like, you know, bi fantasy couples like MGK and Megan Fox, where it's like, oh, they're both kind of like, and then it's like you want them both.
Oh my god, I'm probably not going to include this part in.
Okay, we can't talk about anything we just talked about, but
sorry,
that's redacted. But what we can say off of that, and I wanted to mention, is like sometimes it's such a cultural thing too. Obviously, like religious and like religion, culture, all these things, but it's such a thing of like honor, nobility, like disgrace to the family, even that like you can't, it's not even just about like coming out for you, it's about like your implied connections and like even the people that you've been with. The whole Harry and Louis thing, right? This is probably the biggest like gay man one, right? The One Direction Harry and Louis thing, being like Harry is so right there at the edge of it where like everyone kind of just assumes he's some form of queer anyways, but he can like never really for not a while maybe or ever, because it implies Louis right away, which is such a, I don't know, sometimes I feel like, don't we all know this? Isn't it such common knowledge? Like, why are you even not saying it? But then I remember that there are like non-gay people in the world who really like, and there's more of them than there are of us.
Yeah. Or
they're louder, or they just have more power.
And they're very angry.
They're very angry. So they would actually probably have much more of a reaction. To me, it's kind of like nothing's going to happen, but I know that that's not true.
Yeah.
I live in a different bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Harry and Louis like compilation videos?
Yeah, I have.
Like, I want somebody to look at me that way. I want that.
Yeah.
The gays, holy shit! Like the gays, not the
gays.
G-A-Z-ed.
Yeah. Also, like Shawn Mendes.
Oh,
he's apparently not touring right now because of anxiety, and I'm like, well, no fucking shit. This guy got absolutely shit on. Is like constantly being like ridiculed for his potential sexuality, which like we know, but like I wouldn't want to tour either.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the public eye. No. Shawn Mendes lives in Toronto, and I want to run into this motherfucker so bad.
Cass ran into Shawn Mendes.
My friend Serena ran into Shawn Mendes. Where did Cass run into?
Shawn Mendes came into the store Cass works at.
Saying my friend served coffee to Shawn Mendes. Okay, so we gotta get some service industry jobs ASAP and run into Shawn Mendes. I just
and be like, be free.
Literally, I want to just in the most subtle but intense way possible look him in the eye and be like, you know, your art really inspires a lot of people, and you're very well loved. I really want the best for you, while like really glaring into his soul. And I want him to just know what I mean. Like, I just want, and he would. Like, that's the fucking thing.
I know.
Colton Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
Gave this whole interview, and it's like one of the most quoted ones because he's one of the only people who's spoken about it so openly. But he's fully like, they gave me a girlfriend. They tried to get rid of my lisp. They talked about the way that I walked. Like,
yeah,
they're crazy. Like, they're out here like literally puppeteering you to make sure that you're not like whatever. And I feel like Shawn Mendes must feel the weight of that so hard. But then part of me is also like, you know, not to go back to the beginning of this, but life is short. Like, it's hard. You've made some money, cash out, and go be free. Go be out.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, release your little albums. Do you need to tour? No. Yeah. At this point, he's set for life.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know.
For them, I think it's that still that like not being able to let go of that dream, or like wanting to still like be this like mega pop star, which is so fair, but is it worth it? Sometimes I don't know.
I know. I keep trying to find blinds on Phoebe Bridgers and Paul Mescal, and like what happened apparently with Bo Burnham.
Oh wow.
And I'm like,
I gotta be honest, I'm so sorry, lesbians. I feel no ways about Phoebe Bridgers or Paul Mescal.
No, I don't feel any.
or, like,
I don't look at Phoebe and I'm like, oh, gorgeous.
Okay.
I'm like,
yeah,
I like your music.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at too. I'm like, okay.
I actually think Paul Mescal, whatever, for a man is very pretty. Do I want to be with Paul Mescal?
I don't know about that
guy.
I
I think he's a pretty man.
I think he's pretty.
Yeah. I think he's an attractive man.
You're fucking joking right now. You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me you think
so
this man is pretty.
I think he's pretty.
Which part of him is pretty?
You're right. This is ugly, but he's pretty in normal people.
Okay, so the lighting.
You're
and the
right.
editing.
These
this
are
is
not good.
I dare to say I find Joe Alwyn slightly more pretty than.
Oh
Paul
yeah,
Mescal.
He is.
Mescal.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it for me. You know,
I think he's on.
Ew, the pedo stash. Ew.
I think he's like about as attractive as Phoebe Bridgers, though. Like they seem like a match. To maybe she's prettier.
I think Phoebe
Women are just
Bridgers
prettier.
is like prettier to me.
Yeah.
Maybe in this photo he's not so bad, but still pretty. I hate his hair. I hate his hair. I hate his mustache. No, I'm not getting it. You know, I feel like my type in men, though, even from just like obviously purely aesthetic, is more like a Zayn type.
Oh,
like a Zayn One Direction.
Zayn's so cute.
I like a little bad boy type, you know? Oh, I also like the guy who plays Denver in Money Heist. Even though I think he's maybe a little actually ugly, but he's kind of hot in that show. I don't know.
Well, that's
He's
how I feel about
Spanish.
Paul Mescal.
What's
his name?
Denver Money Heist. Yeah, sorry. He's a little, I don't know. Maybe in some of these shots, not the best, but in the show, he's kind of like, I don't know.
I feel like there's like a personality that comes along with the character.
But Zayn, just even like without the person, actually Zayn probably better off without the personality. Looks like he's kind of hot.
Yeah, he's a pretty man.
You know, also, sorry, now this is like my like guilty pleasure man, but like I think Nick Jonas is hot too.
No. If you're gonna pick a Jonas, it's gotta be Joe.
No, ew. Okay, Joe is too twinky for me.
Wait, can I tell you lines about Joe and Sophie?
Yes. Sorry, just to finalize, I thought Nick Jonas,
right.
when his head was shaved in his jealous era, was like my favorite. Sorry, go ahead. Okay, I don't know. I think he's hot.
That's fair, but wrong.
Fair. I'll take that.
You can have Nick Jonas. I can have Paul Mescal.
You can have Joe Jonas. I don't know.
I don't want Joe Jonas.
You want Paul Mescal?
No, I don't want Paul Mescal. But I'm saying I look at him and I'm like, that's
I don't
fine.
want Nick either.
Like I could look at you. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the blinds on Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. So apparently he like has been cheating on her the whole time. So like they try and bring in a third. Like she's like, okay, let's bring in someone.
He's been cheating on her.
I know.
Not that I think she's the most like fucking beautiful,
she's
stunning,
pretty
whatever.
Stunning,
she's
though.
like,
she's got like one of those faces that's just different, and it's like interesting to look at, and
also I just think she seems to have a better personality than him. I'm like, you don't even have the kind of charm that would allow you to.
I know.
You know.
So he's been cheating on her since the start of their relationship, basically. So they like always bring in thirds. They always go like hire escorts or whatever. And apparently Maisie Williams and Sophie Turner fell out because they had a threesome with Maisie Williams, and then Joe Jonas tried to get with her alone with Maisie Williams. Like he just tried to like fuck her without Sophie, and then Sophie and Maisie fell out because of that.
I'm so tired.
I'm like, leave the man and stay with the best friend. Like,
yeah, literally.
Ugh.
You know, sorry, sidebar. I have a story. One time I dated someone whose best friend was dating this guy, and then she and this guy and her best friend had a threesome together, kind of similar vibe as this. And then the two of them were like, the two girls were like, it was like weird. It was like crying, screaming, throwing up, but like partially because of like, I felt like it got gay for a second between them, and maybe they like something happened there, and then they made it about like the guy and jealousy and whatever, but it was really like their lesbian drama.
Yeah.
Anyways, and sometimes I think about that because I'm like, women sometimes, occasionally, I feel like will settle for these situations in which they can maybe like explore gayness, but like under the guise of like a threesome or whatever. And I'm like, if you're curious, just fuck each other. Although I know, you know, don't go after lesbians.
No.
I'll say, like, don't do that. We're tired. We're done with you. Unless someone is like actively advertising that they're okay and they're whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, just go find your straight best friend who also seems to have this like weird curiosity that you do and be like, should we just try making out? Yeah. And like leave the guy out of the equation. Why do you always have to do it under this like premise of like, oh, join me in my like BF, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
don't let him reap the benefits. Like, do you want some?
Sure. Apparently Joe Jonas is bi too.
I so see that. I fully like he's a twink to me. Like,
she's out. Sophie Turner's out as bi.
Another thing with women in Hollywood, it's okay if they're bi because that's sexy.
It's not okay if he's bi.
Oh, yeah, because he's gay.
It's gay.
Yeah. I'd argue, to me, obviously, gay men are way more attractive than straight men.
Sure.
In looks, in vibes.
Oh yeah.
They're just like a little bit more secure, I think. Not all of them, obviously. This is like generalization. But that makes them, it gives them a better sense of style, gives them a better personality. You know, they're usually more like, usually a little bit less misogynistic, although gay men can be very misogynistic, but usually like it helps, you know, it has the potential to. Yeah. And so a lot of the guys that I even find like I'm attracted to like on the street or like in life or whatever, they're honestly queer or like bi or whatever.
Yeah. That's fair.
We digress.
Should we jump into our song of the week?
Let's do it.
I feel like
our phones are both there, so we have to pull from top head. I honestly haven't been listening to a lot of music lately.
Me neither.
Or like,
well, I kind of want to pull something from the SZA album because like,
it's a pistachio.
That's rough. Yeah, I want to like, but I feel like I haven't been listening to the SZA album like lately, but I did listen to that for like a month straight.
That's true. The SZA album like continues to be my like go-to one because I haven't found anything else that's like really pulls my attention the same way. What are your favorite songs off of it? Maybe
my favorite songs off of the SZA album were Special. You Got Me Onto Snooze. Gone Girl has been my favorite from like the first listen. I do like Nobody Gets Me.
Sounds good.
And I feel like I'm forgetting one.
It's a long track list.
Yeah, it is.
My tattoo, the tattoo I recently got, is a lyric from Good Days. Although Good Days has been out literally since 2020, but I think that's also why I got it because I feel like it's a song that's really gotten me through the last couple of years too. Yeah. It says, "All the while, I'll await my armored fate with a smile." Yeah. It was a really good lyric off that. I like Good Days a lot too, even though it's like, you know.
Yeah.
Any other ones?
Far
is really good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Far is really good.
I think Far is actually my favorite.
Far is really high up there for me. Far, I don't know if I know my number one yet, but Far, I really like Low. I like Used. Low is really good. Yeah.
Used is good too.
I liked Smoking on My X-Pac. Oh, I really like Conceited. Okay, so the whole album really. But what I will say, okay, no, maybe I should really. Snooze is also. I think Snooze is my most played one for sure. I'm
willing to bet Nobody Gets Me is gonna be in my like because it's the one that I like can listen to the most.
Yeah, that's Snooze for me.
I think like I like Far more, but I listen to it less.
I think I like Snooze the best and I listen to it the best. Maybe I'm willing to go on a limb and say that right now. But I also really love the opening track, SOS. It's one that I also repeatedly go back to. So maybe those are my top two. But honestly, I was about to be like, and Special and Ghost in the Machine and like fucking all of these. Yeah, but Snooze and SOS probably are my top ones, at least right now, or have been in the last month. It kind of also changes like week to week. Yeah. But I really like how it's like a nice long album. It's cohesive. Yeah. It even makes the older songs like live a second life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I pay attention to them more now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Good stuff.
Drop your celebrity blind items in the comments if you know anything, because I'm literally so hungry.
Spill that tea.
Yeah. Or where. Okay. Yeah. Spill that tea. Girl boss, girly pop. Spill that tea. And let us know if there's any
girl.
podcasts. I saw you from across the bar. I get so many brand ambassador DMs.
No, me too. It's so
Leave me
annoying.
alone.
I'm like, I'm gonna block you.
Also fully for like MLMs, you know.
Oh yeah, that's all they are.
Anyways, drop your podcast, blind items, whatever else in the comments. We are thirsty for this shit.
Yeah.
And our next ep is gonna be with Tony, who's on her way here. Nobody knows who. Maybe
We've mentioned Tony quite a bit.
She's one of our friends,
For
but I feel like we need to
8
recontext
subscribers.
Yeah,
the people who like actually actively watch.
Yes. Your fave
They'll
Tony.
know who Tony is. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.